Hey everyone, and welcome to my very first episode of We Have a Split Decision. That is what I'm calling this new series where I'm talking about each split decision throughout all of Battlebots World Championship VII. And today we're talking about the very first split decision of the season, Witch Doctor versus Fusion. So before I start, I just want to say this is all my opinion. And even though, yes, I have read the judges' criteria in the rulebook on the official BattleBots website, I do not have any contact with the judges or BattleBots itself on how all this plays out. This is all basically just my opinion. We all have our opinions, so I'm giving you mine, and I want to hear yours in the comments below. So I know there's been a lot of discussion about this fight specifically in the BattleBots Facebook group, and some of it's gotten a little heated. But here's another place where we can talk about it here in the comments of this video. So please express your opinions about it in the comments, and let's try and keep it friendly, but obviously you have your right to your own opinion. So anyway, I'm going to start by just going over a little bit of a quick reference to what aggression, control, and damage is about. And then we're going to get into the scorecards of the judges, as well as what I decided to score it. And then I'm going to ask you guys what you scored it, and we'll discuss it in the comments. All right, so quick reference guide to aggression, control, and damage. Aggression, if I'm reading the rules correctly, I think weapon use is key for aggression, because the way that it's worded, it sounds like if you lose your weapon or you're unable to use your weapon, you might not get as many aggression points than your opponent, depending, I guess. It kind of depends. But I think we just need to remember when it comes to aggression, weapon usage or attempt at weapon usage is key. So, you got to try and use your weapon to damage them. But, obviously damaging them becomes a damage category thing. So as long as you're, an A for effort kind of thing when it comes to aggression, use that weapon, try and use it, keep, I guess keep it going, keep it spinning or grabbing, whatever your weapon is. Yeah, and I think that's aggression. I could be wrong, but that's just the way that I was reading the rules. When it comes to control, I feel like control might be a little bit more on the drive system side of things, because when I read the control criteria, it sounded like, your maneuverability around the box and your ability to avoid attacks while creating attacks for yourself is really showing control. You're able to avoid attacks, but you're able to dish them out. You're also, let's say, in this case, Witch Doctor lost their weapon. They're able to shove Fusion around the box, showing that they, are able to dictate, I guess, the action of the fight without even having to use their weapon. So, I feel like that's kind of more of a drive system thing. So I guess the way I'm looking at it is aggression is like weapon system, whereas control is drive system. Maybe I'm wrong. If I'm reading that wrong or understanding that wrong, please let me know in the comments below. But yeah, and I feel like damage, of course, kind of encompasses both of those things. I feel like your drive system and your weapon system doing the best that they can to create the hardest and most damage. Maybe I'm wrong about this, but that's the way I'm looking at it. All right, so now that we're done getting over like the quick reference guide to what those three categories are, let's get to the scorecards. So here are the scorecards from the fight. I'm going to talk about Fawn and Derek's scores first because they had the exact same scores here. They scored a 2-2-2 in favor of Witch Doctor winning 6-5. And I think the reason why that they did this, and I think you can kind of, if you can zoom in, I don't know if you can, and read what Fawn said there. I think the reason why they chose damage going towards Fusion is because, obviously, Witch Doctor's weapon was down. They had a lot of cosmetic damage. They lost a lot of armor. Also, one of their wheels was missing, which caused the effectiveness of their drive to be compromised there. So I think just overall, it looked like Fusion did more damage, but I feel like at the very end of the fight, that may have been different. I'll get into that later. Then, of course, with aggression and control, they both gave both of those categories to Witch Doctor. And I think the reason why they gave those categories to Witch Doctor is because of the fact that Witch Doctor was absolutely controlling the action of that fight. I mean, they were able to avoid some attacks, create attacks, but then when they lost their weapon, they were still able to shove Fusion around the box, showing complete control of the fight. And I think, honestly, that's the only way to see control, is that Witch Doctor clearly had control category. I mean, this is just my opinion, but I do feel like for the majority of people watching that fight, Witch Doctor was controlling it. They definitely deserved at least the 2 points there. Aggression, I feel like you could see a different way. And so let's get over to Lisa's fight card here, because she did see aggression differently. So she actually saw the damage the same way. She also saw control the same way. But then she chose to give aggression to Fusion. And I kind of agree here. Because if I'm reading the rules correctly, I do feel like aggression is more of a weapons thing. And he had, Fusion had their weapon longer than Witch Doctor did, and was able to use their weapon more to show that aggression with their weapon for a longer period of time, until the last 10 seconds of the fight. So I kind of side with her. If I'm reading the rules correctly, I might be off here, but I do kind of side with her when it comes to aggression. Now here's my scorecard. So I chose to actually give Witch Doctor damage, but I did give Fusion aggression. So in the end, I do agree that Witch Doctor won the fight. But the reason why I give Witch Doctor damage here is because in the last 10 seconds of the fight, it didn't look like Fusion was alive at all. I mean, it was able to kind of crab walk, but I feel like that's almost a complete, I guess their drive was almost completely gone, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And both weapons were down. And even though Witch Doctor, only has one weapon, and it was down for most of the fight, they were still able to drive around the box pretty easily without that wheel. So I do kind of think that Witch Doctor won the damage category right there at the last 10 seconds of the fight. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I know that Fusion didn't take any cosmetic damage. Not really, anyways, the way that, Witch Doctor did. But I do feel like with the drive down and both weapons down, I don't know. I feel like I side Witch Doctor on damage. But aggression, I would say, if I'm reading the rules correctly, if weapon usage does equal more aggression points, I do think that I side with Lisa on giving aggression to Fusion. Anyway, this was a longer video, but that's my opinion there. Let me know what your opinion is of the fight. Do you think it actually went Fusion's way? Do you agree with Lisa? Or maybe you have a different scoring than any of these that you've seen right here, and you think it went Fusion's way? Let me know in the comments below, because we all have a right to our opinion on this, and I do want to see how you guys saw it, and how everybody in the community saw it. So anyway, I'll stop now. Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video here on Bot Fans United.